The opinions expressed in the following paid program do not necessarily represent those of WJFK, CBS Radio, its employees, or sponsors. This is Viner Consulting Terp Talk, 60 minutes of Maryland Terrapins news and commentary, and your phone calls at 866-950-5225. Now from the CBS Radio studios in Baltimore, here are the hosts of Terp Talk, Bruce Posner and Wayne Viner.
All right, welcome everybody in on this monumental day for Viner Consulting as they become the title sponsor of Terp Talk DC, the DC division. And Wayne, you never knew what would happen that day when you put down an offer to come in and be the co-host one time of Terp Talk, and take a minute and talk about the profound change in your life that this has happened, that's been a result of this, and how we kind of got to the fact that you now join the ranks of Coons Ford and Donald Science. You're in high company there as the title sponsor of Terp Talk of Maryland that you love so much.
Well, I've been a Maryland fan since 1978, since I was a little fella. But here's my rendition of the story of how this happened. Is I go to Terrapin events, and on one of the events, they had a silent auction in the back, and it said, come to the studio to listen to the Terp Talk show live. And I figured, well, for my $25, I'll bid on this, figuring somebody would outbid me. And somebody did, but I didn't know it was Bruce.
Well, of course, I had to get that price up a little bit.
So for $35, I won the opportunity in February of, 2012, to come to the show. And football was over, so I called Bruce. He said, well, you can come in August when it's time for football. Call me back. So a couple months later, I called him back. And in typical Bruce fashion, in one line, he said, well, the show's at 8 a.m., come to the studio. You know where the studio is? I said, no. He goes, well, you can look it up. I said, can I bring somebody? He said, sure. And that's how we got our intern, Mason. And he told me in staccato fashion and beyond for a couple minutes to talk about Viner Consulting, and that would be it. And in my retelling of the story, I come in, and we start talking, and an hour went by. It's the fastest hour in sports. And he said, well, you can come back next week. And I came back next week, and now it's been a year and a half, and here we are.
You know, it's funny, when you left that day, you said, I got to do more of this. In fact, I want to be a sponsor. He says, I want my own show. I want the show to be Viner Consulting. And I said, well, you never know what can happen. That could happen one day.
True.
But, you don't have 100 shows, so you have to wait for the timing. And Wayne jumped in when it was available. And, Wayne, I thank you for your support. And we'll do what we can for Viner Consulting, Terp Talk. Let's get down to Terp business. And good news, bad news last night. Let's get the bad news out of the way first. Although I don't think it was that bad. I loved the effort of the Maryland women last night. I was there at the game. They came out on fire. Alyssa Thomas had a career-type game. And I don't know what she finished with, maybe 24 points. But the score was 43-43. And then I can't even explain the machine-like UConn Huskies, led by their head coach, Gino Auriemma, without question one of the great basketball coaches of all time, and I'll put him in any category, led by Breanna Stewart. This woman is probably one of the best players in the country. She took the Terrapins apart along with her running mates, their defense, their layups. All you got to do, Wayne, is look at the points in the paint. UConn had 48 points in the paint. Maryland had 10 to 48. Well, when one team's shooting layups and the other team's chucking up threes, eventually when you live by the three, what do, Wayne?
You're going to die by the three.
And Maryland sure did. It was disappointing. A great crowd of 15,000 people at some godforsaken time at 6 p.m. on a Friday. It was almost like a test to see how many people could get there because the traffic was insane just going to the game.
Well, tell me about the crowd, because the part that I didn't get to go, I was at a high school play last night. I didn't get to go to the Maryland game, but was it like going to a Maryland Duke game?
Without
being there?
the crowd was, well, you know, you've been to women's games before, and one thing, the women's crowd never gets down on the team. You never hear the awes or the complaints, and there were some reasons for complaints last night along the way, but never do they get down. And they unfurled a couple flags. I don't know if you got to see that.
Well, yeah, that came out on Instagram right after it happened.
It was great. It was great, and the team was on fire. They came out. Gino said afterwards, he said that his strategy, as crazy as it sounds, was to let Alyssa Thomas score 30 in the first half.
Well, she had 20 points, 9 of 18 from the floor, 14 boards and 3 assists. Katie Rutan had 11, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc, and nobody had more than, I guess, 7 or 10 points for the rest of the team. So it was a two-person effort.
The supporting cast didn't shoot that well, but
well, that's 3 losses in a row. 2 last time. You know, UConn's an 8-time national champion. We lost to them twice last year. And I was really thinking, Brenda, with all those ads, anybody who gets the terp emails or watches those ads, they did a really good ad campaign to get that place nearly full last night.
Right. Well, Brenda was on the show the other night, and you know, the show in Baltimore is on Wednesday. It was on Thursday for years, and I kept saying tomorrow night.
Right.
I kept saying it, and finally I corrected myself. But
right. And if you're in D.C. and you can't get 1300, you check us out on terptalk.com. You can listen live or on the radio.com app for your cell phone. You know, if you're driving around D.C., you can listen to Terp Talk on Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock. It's a different show. We do 2 different shows, the Baltimore market and the D.C. market.
I tell you what's great, Wayne, about the 2 shows now. The first show on Wednesday night, the gap in time is great enough so the news stories change. Mm-hmm. It is a different show as I find that out as I prepare, and I know as you prepare. Look what happened between Wednesday night and this morning. You had the Abilene game, you had the 4 commits come out, you had the soccer game, the field hockey game. It was a ton, the new branding. Mm-hmm. Everything happened in that time frame. So, and I can even go more than that.
Right.
But I like the fact that you split the week in half.
Yeah. And with you going to a different game in a different place every night, there's certainly something to talk about.
You know what I almost did last night? I almost left the basketball game and went to the soccer game. But when I got in my car, it started to rain, and that cured that situation. So the Terps move on. I'm not going to call it a bad loss because they lost to a team that was better.
If you have 15,000 plus at a 6 o'clock game on a Friday for women's basketball, you're doing okay.
Yeah, you definitely are. And great job by all the promotions. But the game didn't need promotion. People wanted to see UConn, and they wanted to see Maryland play UConn at home. It's never happened before. And maybe, you know, I didn't stay for the after press conference, but I would have asked Gino, can we see this as a home and home every other year?
Well, I guess what I was going to ask you before we get out on this is, what is the gap? I mean, the gap on the scoreboard was 17 points. What do you think the real gap?
What's always the gap? It's talent and coaching.
Yeah, but how much? A lot? A little? If we would have.
Well, I would say this. UConn's number 1 in the country. All right. And it's a long way down to number 2. They are fantastic. They lost their best player. Mm-hmm. This girl, Lewis. She was their best player. And I want to tell you something. I don't know what the difference would have made if she played. I mean, they were one person short on depth, all Americans, all pros. The scouts were lined up last night to watch Breanna Stewart, and there'll be a battle for her. I had Chris Weller last night tell me that she knows everybody involved, right. Obviously. We know Chris, the former Hall of Fame coach for Maryland. And Chris said that many people think that she is the best player in the country. You know when? Right now.
She being Breanna Stewart.
Breanna Stewart. Right now. And to have 2 other 7-footers there. And let's give Gino Auriemma credit. I mean, this guy can flat out coach. He gets his guards to play great. One thing I loved about the game last night is that I just fell in love with the ability of Lexi Brown. This is going to be, I talked with Freddie about it last night. This is going to be an All-American. She can really play. So can the other girls. But Lexi Brown's an 18-year-old freshman, and she came onto that court as like a seasoned pro and really played well. So Brenda coached them up last night. The shots were there. She spread it out. They just had no answer for Stewart. Devon and everybody, they tried everything they could with Rutan and Melina Howard, and there was no answer. Brenda said that afterwards. In fact, her exact words were, she said, Connecticut makes runs at you. They don't make mistakes. When you see 6 turnovers in a 40-minute game, they don't beat themselves. In the second half, there were too many runs, missed box-out opportunities, and we had no answer for Stewart. When she stepped back and nailed the 3, I said, oh, my Lord, this girl is unreal. And her rebounding technique and everything about her was great. We lost to a better team that's coached by one of the great coaches of all time in women's basketball and basketball in general, and that's Gino Auriemma. So, Brenda, congratulations. Oh, you did a super job. That team was so ready to play. 43-43.
At the half.
Overmatched, to my opinion, with Stewart, and yet they hung in. Go ahead, Wayne.
Well, I was going to say, if you think that that's how we feel playing UConn, I'm sure that's how Clemson felt playing the Maryland Machine, the soccer team that Swarovski's put together.
Yeah, but I hated that game. I watched the entire game. Well, maybe missed 10 minutes, but the way Clemson plays is so pathetic. It's almost like a fist fight.
So we're talking about the soccer game, ACC Final Four.
Final Four game. And Maryland won 1-0. And, the guy, Michael Sowers, big time goal, big scrum in front of the cage. Mullins, everybody was in there. I thought that Mikey Ambrose was super last night, and Endo was great. Mullins had many opportunities. But when all was said and done, it was a scramble in front of the cage, but forget about that. Zach Steffen made a save to save the game in overtime because it was a golden goal game. It wasn't a continuous overtime. And he made a save on a free kick by this guy McNamara for Clemson, who's definitely reminds you of Rooney a little bit. He's fantastic. But he made a free kick. It was deflected off the head of one of the Maryland players, and Steffen had to redirect his entire body, and he did. What an absolutely incredible save. 3 minutes later, Maryland got the goal to win the game. And that game was not one-sided. That was a relatively even game, but it wasn't a Maryland game because Clemson just took all the air out of the ball.
Well, 99 minutes and 47 seconds of shutout from Steffen, who's a freshman goalkeeper, and he is...
I had my doubts early in the year. He was getting beat in those first couple games, gave up a lot of goals, but no more doubts. This kid is great.
Well, he came in and they made him the starter. I guess he beat out, is it Keith Cardona?
Cardona last year. I think the residual effect of that last game hung on Sasha.
Right. So when does Maryland play again? You got a championship game?
They got Sunday, 2 o'clock. Unfortunately, it's supposed to rain, which I don't think affects only the crowd, but... over at the complex, and then the basketball game on Sunday at night at 6 o'clock that you're supposed to get there an hour early for.
Yeah.
And if you're coming to the game, there's a fact you can't leave until El Presidente leaves.
Yes, the special guest.
Yes, I think it's great that he's coming. Like him or don't like him, he's our president, and what an honor to have him at the game. I think it's fantastic that he's coming to the game. It's not fantastic that everybody has to, I think they're talking about going through the upper deck gate. They're trying
B and D, which I guess are the ground level gates, will be closed after 5 p.m. So if you come in the stadium, because I guess that's his exit path, you can't leave that way for the rest of the game. So it's going to be tough getting out of the stadium, walking out.
It's going to be tough to get in either as well. And you can't leave until Obama leaves. That's the word I heard.
I hope he's enjoying the game or something like that. I hope it works out for us. But at 2 o'clock at the Germantown Soccerplex, Maryland's going to play new to the ACC Notre Dame, who beat Virginia.
Clearly was number one in the nation. No, they're not. Virginia won. Wait, come on.
Whoa, I'm sorry.
Virginia won in overtime. Notre Dame has lost 2 times this year. Guess to who? Virginia, both times. and they lost 4-3 to Virginia, and Maryland plays Virginia. And what a better way to go out in ACC soccer than to take out our supposed chief rival, the Virginia Cavaliers. Going to be a super game. That's funny. Maryland came into the game as number 1 seed, I guess because they tied Notre Dame and maybe their goal differential was better.
Yeah, we played them at Notre Dame.
Right. But Virginia and Dame had the one loss. It's not worth going into why, but Maryland against Virginia for all the marbles, all the ACC marbles, and no doubt that when the national seedings come out, wouldn't be shocked. I think Notre Dame will retain their number 1, to tell you the truth, with only 2 losses. But Maryland should be number 2, 3, or 4. So this could be the first. Well, they're not going to play Notre Dame. Now you got me messed up. But the replay against Notre Dame.
Did you hear that Dewey beat Truman?
Yeah, that's
really?
right. What'd you do? Go to sleep when Dame was winning 3-1? Anyway, Michael Sowers got the winning goal of a very unlikely person to get the winning goal. His second goal of the year, third goal of the year, and just a great game. And that complex is super, although it's kind of like playing the ACC basketball tournament in Greensboro. Right. Sasha calls it neutral, and there were 10,000 Maryland fans there last night, and maybe 100 Clemson fans.
Well, there's also football and men's basketball and a bunch of other stuff still to get to. But
we haven't even talked about the football game today, 6th win, but those were 2 big events last night, had to be covered. And, of course, today at 11:30, our version of the UConn basketball team, and that's the Maryland field hockey team, going into action against American, who they played earlier in the year, Wayne, at American. And if you don't know what happened, Maryland won 2-0. They had 12 shots. You ready? And American had 1 shot on goal. So that 2-0 was kind of like a 14-0 whitewash. Something that might happen to the Redskins tomorrow, huh?
It might. So I might go to the soccer game. Skip the Redskins, go to the soccer game.
It's going to be tough to get to both, though, I'll tell you that. You got to almost make up your mind.
Between soccer and basketball?
Yeah, because that soccer game is not going to be a 2-hour game.
No, I'm going to go to the first half, and off we go to Comcast.
Right. All right, this is Bruce Posner. You're listening to Viner Consulting Terp Talk. And, of course, we thank Wayne Viner. Wayne, tell us real quick about Viner Consulting. What do you got for us?
Oh, we got actual ads today, if you can believe that. But when I was talking to my own people in the office and our customers preparing for today, I asked them, what do you think we do? And they say we fix businesses. And whether it's IT problems, web pages, e-commerce, problem with your accounting system or your marketing, you can call me for a free evaluation. You can reach us at 301-251-2900 or online at consulting2900.com. Viner Consulting fixes businesses, and we're in business so you can get back to business.
All right, Wayne, thank you, and thank you for the sponsorship of Viner Consulting Terp Talk, and we'll hear a lot about Viner Consulting throughout this show and all the shows coming up. This is Bruce Posner with my sidekick, Wayne Viner. We'll be back in a few minutes, talk some football, talk some hoops, here on Viner Consulting Terp Talk on 1580. We're pleased to welcome Kelly & Associates Insurance Group to the Terp Talk family. For more than 35 years, Kelly & Associates Insurance Group has been known as the region's premier group insurance administrator, broker, and consultant specializing in healthcare. Kelly is also able to provide your organization with an integrated payroll solution through KTBS Payroll. The leader in benefits is now the leader in payroll, too. To learn more about how Kelly and KTBS Payroll can provide your organization with a total benefits solution, contact them today at 800-972-7227. Kelly, one of the most trusted names in benefits, now offers payroll. KTBS Payroll provides a payroll solution that utilizes their innovative technology for greater accuracy, administrative efficiency, and compliance with regulatory requirements, such as the new Patient Protection and Affordable Care Acts. KTBS Payroll features management tools, reports, and services that relieve you of the details while giving you better control, ensuring you remain in compliance. Call KTBS today at 888-882-1487 to learn more about their integrated solution for payroll and benefits through KTBS Payroll. Listen up. If you want crabs, you have to head to the Costas Inn on North Point Boulevard. There is no comparison in all of Maryland for the greatest crabs and crab cakes ever. Costas also serves unbelievable steamed shrimp, Greek salads, and steaks for lunch and dinner. Nick, Pete, and Costas Triantopoulos run the perfect restaurant to go with family and friends. Give Costas Inn a call at 410-477-1975 and tell them that Terp Talk guy sent you. Terp Talk is proud to welcome Glen Burnie Transmissions as a new sponsor. Located at 7166 Ritchie Highway in Glen Burnie. For over 50 years, Glen Burnie Transmissions offers free towing from the D.C. area. Transmissions for all imports and domestics. Go to www.gbt-online.com for a quotation or call President Mark Schwartzman at 800-458-2661. That's 800-458-2661, Glen Burnie Transmissions.
Hi, I'm Johnny Holiday. I've seen a lot of great teams over the years, but not as good as the legal team at the Jacklish Law Group. Every single lawyer at the Jacklish Law Group is ranked in the top 1% of personal injury lawyers in the entire country, and we're honored yet again by Super Lawyers magazine. So if you've been injured in a truck, car, or train crash, get that great team working for you. Call the Jacklish Law Group, 301-627-8700. Can't spell Jacklish? Try www.smallfirmbigdogs.com.
Viner Consulting helps you get the most out of your business technology. We develop a technology plan for your business. There is much more than the run-of-the-mill break and fix service you are probably used to getting from your local IT tech. This is a real plan to move you forward, to bring in the latest technology at the best prices, strong support services, and a vision to lay out where you want your company to be down the road. And best of all, the plan is free to your company. Let us come and help you build your future today. Viner Consulting is a proud Microsoft partner, a Lenovo partner, and an HP partner. Conveniently based in Rockville, we service the Baltimore, Washington area. You can reach us at 240-599-0140 or on the web at www.vinerconsulting.com. Atman's Delicatessen has finally expanded into the Potomac area. Created originally in Baltimore in 1915, it's been a long time, but the best deli in the nation has come to the Washington area. Everyone is ecstatic that now you can find Atman's Deli at Tuckerman Lane in the Cabin John Shopping Center. Mark Atman, a tremendous Terp fan, brings his tremendous talents to the Washington area when it comes to delicatessen. Open from 8 to 8 for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Atman's features its corned beef and pastrami, but certainly has all the great deli food available. Call 301-765-3354 for catering or to order ahead. That's Atman's Deli, 301-765-3354 in the Cabin John Shopping Center.
Attention business owners. Circumstances force the best of businesses to ask callers to wait. KO Productions on-hold messages turn those wasted seconds into customer awareness, service, consideration, and your own profitability. Not even Alexander Graham Bell could do as much for your telephone as we can. Get complete details at koponhold.com, koponhold.com, or call Freddie from Boca at 800-229-9969, 800-229-9969.
Access Title Company, LLC, brings to you experience, relationship, and peace of mind. All great reasons to choose Access Title Company as your residential and commercial real estate settlement company. Choosing a reputable, experienced title company is crucial to a smooth settlement process. Our staff of attorneys and experienced personnel is committed to helping you through the complete process, with personal attention, competitive rates, and prompt service. Access Title Company goes anywhere in the state of Maryland to perform your settlement at no additional cost to you. That's why we're Access Title. Please call Melanie, our operations manager, at 410-363-8785 for additional information. That's Access Title Company at 410-363-8785.
You're listening to Viner Consulting Terp Talk. Join the conversation at 866-950-5225. Once again, Bruce Posner and Wayne Viner.
All right, back here on Viner Consulting, the initial show. Maybe I'll get the tape and I'll bronze it in a plaque for you, Wayne.
I need a bronze tape. I thank you for that thought. But, the other day on the way to the game, because I was coming back from New York with you for the Brooklyn game.
We had a good time. That was a great trip, wasn't it?
Yeah. Boy, we'll get that in the last segment, but I decided to stop off at Old Line Bistro for lunch on the way to the game, the Syracuse game. So it's really cool that they're a sponsor of ours.
But their food is great. But nestled near College Park is one of Terp Talk's favorite spots, the Old Line Fine Wine Spirits and Bistro. I've had several lunches and dinners, and now Wayne has at the Old Line Bistro, and the atmosphere is fantastic. A great spot to go before or after a Terp game. Then there's the greatest selection of fine wines and beers, all at reasonable prices. At 11011 Baltimore Avenue on Route 1, check out the Old Line Bistro. Say hello to my friend Larry Pendleton. Call 301-937-6999 for reservations, or just stop in. That's the Old Line Bistro, and of course go there before or after the game next week at against Boston College, and the odds are you'll see Wayne, myself, or both of us there.
Right, and if the weather's bad and you don't want to tailgate, it's a great place to go to lunch of a full service restaurant. And then I picked up the beer, the ice, and a container to put it in, and went out at my tailgate party after that.
Did you get some Terrapin beer?
No, because it's actually made in Georgia. I just like the name, though.
Okay. All right. We're not going to get into the UConn game from last Friday night. It's kind of like old news, but it was a great effort, a great time at the Barclays Center. That's why we weren't on the air last week. We were cruising in Wayne's Tahoe, packed to the gills with people.
The internet blasting, blogging, having a good time.
Right. Super time. So we go to Wednesday night against Abilene Christian, and listen, I've said this, there's debates about who's the guy who stirs this team. I've said it's been Jake Lehman, and I want to tell you something. Some of these games have gotten very interesting against these supposed walkovers. I watched last night, Columbia had Michigan State, the new number one team in the nation, on the ropes with 5 minutes to go, and just could not close the deal. Lost by 9 points. And guess what? Abilene Christian, in their third Division I game, had the University of Maryland on the ropes a little bit. Not like last night. They had us on the ropes a little bit until my guy, Jake Lehman, went boom, boom, boom. And guess what happens? Game over, Wayne.
Well, Don Marcus, who's our sometimes on-air nemesis for this, says it's Des Wells, and you keep saying it's Lehman. And, Bruce, you might end up being right, which is a big surprise to you, I know.
Yeah, right.
But when Lehman had the ball, and we were waiting for Maryland to catch on fire, and I was on Twitter, and I had a sentence half written that said this could be the biggest upset in comp, and I didn't get the rest of the word finished, and he hit a 3. And Maryland got the ball, and he hit a 3. And Maryland got the ball, and he drove the lane and got fouled, made the layup and the free throw. And Maryland doesn't give up a basket for the last 13 minutes and 15 seconds of that game. They shut out Abilene Christian. But for a while, Abilene Christian had those guards that Maryland never can seem to find, that 5'7" little guard who sits outside and just hits 3 after 3. And they gave up, they were 7 for 8 from beyond the arc until Maryland put the screws to them.
Yeah, well, they had a lead. It was almost unbelievable. Johnny Holiday, I obviously, you were down the game covering it, and I was coming down from the show in Baltimore, and I had always the privilege to listen to Johnny Holiday. And Johnny Holiday was beside himself. He was screaming, would somebody put a hand in the face of the shooter? I forgot his name already. But what a tough win. 9,100 people were there to witness it. Maryland had to come from behind, and you know what? Turgeon took the blame. He put it on himself. He says, we really didn't prepare for Abilene Christian, and this is what happens when you don't prepare for them. He said, we just didn't spend a lot of time on it. We were just working on our offense or whatever.
Well, that offense still didn't really seem to get going until Lehman decided he would shoot. And when you sit as close as we do on the press, you can hear him calling for the ball, and suddenly Des Wells became his best friend. They had Des Wells, who got in a bit of a altercation Wrong word. They had words with Turgeon. So
Turgeon dismissed the whole thing.
Dez plays for 5 minutes in the first half and got benched. When he comes back in the second half, he picked up a lot of assists getting the ball to Jake Lehman.
Right. Let's hear what I talked to Jake after the game, and just for a minute or two. Coach said today that you might have been the freshest guy on the team because you missed practice.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way when you came in?
No, not at all. I was gassed when I first got in there because I missed 2 days of practice and my legs were a little stiff, so I was pretty tired. But once I got my second win, I was fine.
Yeah. Talk about the stroke this year. It's there. You know, what's different this year than last year with your shot? In your opinion?
I think just confidence that I'm going to make it every time. Just knowing that when it leaves my fingertips, that it's going in.
Okay. And slow start today for the team. Was Mr. Turgeon a little upset?
Yeah, after the first half, he was pretty upset. He just told us that we had zero energy and that we needed to pick it up a lot in the second half.
He mentioned that Dez was finding you in that second half. Mm-hmm. He's the one who set you up a few times.
Yeah, when someone gets hot, you keep finding them, and that's what happened.
All right, Jake, great game.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, Wayne, it's funny. When I got to the game the other day, you were sitting in that back row, and you didn't have any trouble finding the seat. You know what the difference is between this year and last year? Last year, that back row was filled with NBA scouts for Alex Len.
Yeah.
All right.
They'll be back to see Jake Lehman.
Jake Lehman, I'll go on record right now. Jake Lehman, all right? Freddie, don't get upset. Jake Lehman will be playing in the NBA. From all that I've heard and all that I've read, he's already projected first-round pick next year.
I think he's the 22nd best player.
Next year round. Or this year?
Maybe he's the 22nd best
next year.
Yeah.
But next year he's projected in the first round on some of the pretty good prediction sites.
So next year being June of 2014 or June of 2015?
No. One more year at Maryland. Mm-hmm. I don't think he'll see a senior year. All right, I really don't. I think he's a 3-year guy.
Well, that's interesting you bring that up because you could make a case that it's hard to get everybody minutes right now. With the team we have now, there's people who are going to want to play, especially when the point guard comes back, Seth Allen.
Right. Well, I'm going to tell you something. You think it's hard this year. I don't want to think about next year because you have
thinking about
Romello Trimble coming in who looks like a immediate impact player. We know by then Roddy Peters. I think it's a matter of time that Roddy Peters is going to start now.
Well, he started because
Lehman had a thigh bruise, had no other reason. Turgeon said put nothing into it. That it's the only reason Roddy started. But when Roddy's at the point, and I thought the other night, when he was at the point, he did a nice job. Just 4 turnovers isn't going to work.
Right. Well, we'll get back to those 4 recruits. But the one thing about Roddy Peters, and when you play freshmen in college, is it's sometimes a defensive end. You can see him play well on offense. He gets the ball. He's got some great moves.
He's a little lost out there.
He gets behind the screens, and that's when you start hearing Johnny Holiday say somebody's got to get out here. If your defender's playing behind the screen, it's hard to get out on the shooter.
Wayne, I don't know how much good comes from a game like that. It was a fun game to watch. It was nothing. I enjoyed it as a spectator, but they're so lowly ranked that it doesn't help your RPI.
Well, this game, because they're moving up from D2 to D1,
right,
it doesn't even count against your RPI.
But Lord knows if you lose a game like that, and if Michigan State, you could see Izzo's face last night when they were down by 4 with 5 minutes left. And, he's sitting there saying, what? He didn't even know what to do. And all these guys who played incredible against Kentucky disappeared.
Right. Well, with Maryland, back to the 4 recruits, it's going to be really hard to keep everybody happy next time. But even this time, I really want to see Roddy Peters get more minutes. And when you play a game like Abilene Christian, I guess you can experiment a bit. And however Dez ended up on the bench or however Roddy got a start, if you're going to do those type of adjustments, that's a great game to do it.
Yeah, it was. Bottom line, they won. They're 1-1. And now Oregon State with Angus Brandt, their 6'10" redshirt senior center from Sydney, Australia. And, of course, Roberto Nelson. That's the guy you have to stop, the guard. He, of course, also is a senior from Santa Barbara. They come into town. Not a great team, 14-18 last year. Awful loss against Coppin State and Fang Mitchell. That's happened to Maryland. All right.
Yep. When
Fang
they had Chucky Lightning back then, man.
Fang Mitchell came into Maryland and defeated the Terps and never played him since. All right, which I don't really understand why, but
well, they had Chucky Lightning and they had a guy who ended up playing for the Bullets at the time, whose name I can't recall, who literally ended up shooting himself in the foot in his townhouse, and that ended his career, I believe.
Well, I didn't know that story, but listen, any team that Fang Mitchell brings in is always competitive.
But the reason Oregon State's playing here probably isn't the Oregon State part of the Beaver
Mr.
part.
Obama.
It's Craig Robinson, who is Michelle's brother, is the head coach at Oregon State.
All right, we'll come back. We'll talk some football. And before we do, time for the Mervis Minute. Let's talk about them Caps, my man.
Well, the Caps came roaring back last night and get a win against Detroit. And this DC Sports Minute is brought to you by Mervis Diamonds. Nobody pays retail anymore. Why should you? Mervis is having their annual trunk show to help you find a gift for your girlfriend, your wife. That is in December 5th, 6th, and 7th, which I think is Friday, Saturday, Sunday in a couple weeks. If you are looking for that special gift, diamond stud earrings, a diamond ring, boy, Mervis is the diamond expert. Nobody pays retail anymore. Why should you? And boy, the Caps on the retail side, it's Alex Ovechkin, who I guess got that game tied. And I thought the game was over. Caps were down 3-1. And it come roaring back.
Ovechkin scored to make it 3-2, and then Lotta scored to make it 3-3, and then Nicholas Backstrom, the king of overtime right now, gets the only goal in sudden death, and so much for just a great win. That was a shootout, of course.
Right,
great win for the Caps in Detroit.
Right,
in Detroit.
On the road this time. Now with Detroit being on our side of the league with the redistribution of the teams, it's a huge win because if you're going to get to the Stanley Cup, the chances are the Red Wings are always there in the last 4 teams, it seems. And that's somebody between the Red Wings and the Penguins the Caps are going to have to overcome. And I'm hopefully with this, what I'm now thinking is a really great start for the team that you can get there. Maybe this is our year.
Last year, Ribeiro came to the team and helped out. He's gone now. And this year it's been Mikhail Grabowski.
Yes.
And he has been superb. They're 11-8. Great start. Head out to our second break on Viner Consulting Terp Talk. It's Bruce Posner along with Wayne Viner and Mason's in the house today. We'll be back in a few minutes here on CBS Sports Radio 1580. We're pleased to welcome Kelly & Associates Insurance Group to the Terp Talk family. For more than 35 years, Kelly & Associates Insurance Group has been known as the region's premier group insurance administrator, broker, and consultant specializing in healthcare. Kelly is also able to provide your organization with an integrated payroll solution through KTBS Payroll. The leader in benefits is now the leader in payroll, too. To learn more about how Kelly and KTBS Payroll can provide your organization with a total benefits solution, contact them today at 800-972-7227. Kelly, one of the most trusted names in benefits, now offers payroll. KTBS Payroll provides a payroll solution that utilizes their innovative technology for greater accuracy, administrative efficiency, and compliance with regulatory requirements, such as the new Patient Protection and Affordable Care Acts. KTBS Payroll features management tools, reports, and services that relieve you of the details while giving you better control, ensuring you remain in compliance. Call KTBS today at 888-882-1487 to learn more about their integrated solution for payroll and benefits through KTBS Payroll. Terp Talk is proud to welcome Glen Burnie Transmissions as a new sponsor. Located at 7166 Ritchie Highway in Glen Burnie. For over 50 years, Glen Burnie Transmissions offers free towing from the D.C. area. Transmissions for all imports and domestics. Go to www.gbt-online.com for a quotation or call President Mark Schwartzman at 800-458-2661. That's 800-458-2661. Glen Burnie Transmissions. Fellowship of Christian Athletes is touching millions of lives, one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been helping coaches and athletes on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels to fulfill their God-given potential. FCA is the largest Christian sports organization in America and focuses on serving local communities by equipping, empowering, and encouraging people to make a difference. To learn more about the FCA in your area, call Mark Stevens at 301-363-8611 or visit their website, metromdfca.org.
Have you been injured in a car accident, by medical error, while on the job, or because of the fault of another? Are your medical payments and paperwork piling up, or are you out of work and losing wages that you can't afford to lose, all because someone else was negligent? If so, get the representation and individual attention you deserve from the law firm of Grant Posner, 443-388-4777, or go to BeMoreLaw.com for your free consultation.
I'm Grant Posner. I began this firm with the belief that all clients should get the individual attention that they deserve. When you call my office, you deserve to speak directly to an attorney. Call today at 443-388-4777 or visit BeMoreLaw.com and schedule your free consultation with an attorney today. Get the individual attention and experience you deserve for all of your injury, traffic, or criminal legal needs. And don't forget, for personal injury cases, there are no legal fees or expenses unless we win. Call today, 443-388-4777 or BeMoreLaw.com.
Access Title Company, LLC, brings to you experience, relationship, and peace of mind. All great reasons to choose Access Title Company as your residential and commercial real estate settlement company. Choosing a reputable, experienced title company is crucial to a smooth settlement process. Our staff of attorneys and experienced personnel is committed to helping you through the complete process with personal attention, competitive rates, and prompt service. Access Title Company goes anywhere in the state of Maryland to perform your settlement at no additional cost to you. That's why we're Access Title. Please call Melanie, our operations manager, at 410-363-8785 for additional information. That's Access Title Company at 410-363-8785.
You're listening to Viner Consulting Terp Talk. Join the conversation at 866-950-5225. Once again, Bruce Posner and Wayne Viner.
All right, back here on our third and final segment, the first show ever of Viner Consulting Terp Talk. Has it lifted you, Wayne? Is it like, you feel like a different person?
I am on the Mount Rushmore of IT sports support at this point, so I'm looking down on all of you, and it looks great up here, and I wish I was in Blacksburg. I love coming to the studio and working with Bruce. It's just great, but man, there's a football game today. I thought about going to Blacksburg.
The only problem with Blacksburg, I think it's easier to go to Los Angeles. I'm not making that up.
Probably
at least
true.
You get on a plane, you know where you're going, you get off the plane, you're in the airport, and that's done. You go to Blacksburg, 6 hours after you leave, you're saying, where's the university? I'm telling you, it's a tough place to go to, and if you lose, whatever. Look, last week's game, let's not pull any punches. Randy be the first one to say it, was extremely disappointing. And Wayne, I thought you asked Wayne a great question. Introduce the piece we're going to play from Etzel.
Well, I was at the press conference on Tuesday, and I asked him what happened to the fire of the team. Everyone, even he admitted the defense didn't have it when they came out, and it took them a series or two to actually start playing hard. So I asked him, what's in your bag of tricks to get this young team to come out with the fire you need to compete in a college football game? And Randy said,
well, you talk about those things. I mean, we talked on Sunday, and we asked them. I called on some different guys in the meeting. I said, guys, what's different now than, say, a few weeks ago? And got them to respond and everything else. And I said, well, how do we go get that back? How do we do that? And so we had a very good talk and understood. And then I met again with the Leadership Council and talked to them and just explained to to them, again, what their role needs to be in all this. And again, I know that they get it, and they want to go out and they want to win and they want to do well. And again, I think that what I've always got to make sure is that with young guys that we have is that sometimes emotionally that they don't handle, because they're young, they don't handle things as well as maybe as you'd like them to.
And you can hear how difficult it was for him to answer a question of why the team that he put out there just didn't have it against Syracuse. And usually I stay to the end of every game. I think this is the 6th game in 30-something years that I left early. And even Mason, who gives me a fight when I want to leave a minute early, was ready to go. And I went across the field of the press box and went up and saw Bruce. And I looked back to the side of the stadium that has the club seats, and there were 25 people left with 4 minutes to go. I mean, it was just over. It was one of the first times I've had that empty feeling that maybe this wasn't going to work in the long run. And then I went to the press conference, and I'm all jacked up again. I'm back on the bandwagon. Bruce, what are your feelings after that 20-3 loss?
It was first of all, most people who went to New York did not come back for the game because it was an effort to get back. And Wayne had a caravan that we all came back to, and it was a long day.
Yeah.
All right, we left at 8 o'clock, and it was a 4.5-hour drive.
Well, your day started 6 o'clock on Friday before, and you were busy nonstop till that game ended.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
The Syracuse game ended.
So you get to the game, and I was really pumped. I said to my wife, because we were in New York for the day, and I felt a little guilty about not spending the day up there, go to a show or something like that, because we were there.
Right.
But I said to her, if we win this 6th game, I got to be there. I want to be there for the celebration. I want to be there. And I got to tell you, I could not believe how flat they came out. I just didn't believe it. And your question was right on the money. And Randy knew that was the problem. And they fell behind and they never could catch up. And CJ just didn't have it, whatever was going on. And of course, the new left tackle who's out this week,
Moses LaRose.
Right. Who is the left tackle this week? Mason?
Mason Viner. It's going to be Clem, the 5th year. That's our only 5th-year senior. Well, other than CJ. But it's a 5th-year graduating senior. It's Nick Clem will be at left tackle.
All right, well, that's good that he has experience. And so you have 5, as Randy says, he puts his 5 best linemen out there. But he took a lot of heat this week. If I had to listen to Feinstein one more time, I was going to puke. I don't know what Feinstein has in it for Randy, but he does. Have you ever seen him in a game?
Not recently.
And I don't know how much he watches the team, so it's not fair for me to comment.
Well, John Feinstein was the radio guy for Navy. He really loves Navy. He loves college sports, but man, he doesn't like Randy Edsall.
I mean, it pains me a lot to have to I do listen to him sometimes because he's on our channel.
I forgot he's on our channel too.
Right.
Yeah.
So and the show's good, but when you bring up Edsall, and there was a couple guys on the staff who really leaned into him when Maryland was 4-0. Yeah. Really leaned into him. And Feinstein says last year, you got to give the guy a break, all right, with having no quarterbacks.
Right. And I know that we're tired of saying this, but with the team that was 4-0, of the 22 guys, about 10 of them, that was the last game they played.
And actually, the first thing Feinstein says, well, we were losing to Maryland, to Wake when they got hurt. Yeah, we were losing to Wake, but we could have come back and won the game.
Well, I don't want to go through who was in that injury list.
Yeah, that's old news. But anyway,
it's still, to me, it's still the truth that 22 guys started and beat West Virginia, and we got to 4-0, and then they didn't play again. That is not the same team on the field today that was out
Maryland
there.
has 3 games left, all right? And as down as we are right now, just imagine where we'll be if by some miracle they pulled that upset today and beat Virginia Tech.
Oh, well, forget all about this. It'll be the greatest day, greatest coach you ever saw. I've always loved this guy.
And that's how it works. That's what people will do. So my only comment to Randy afterwards is one more win will be huge. Even, I tell you what, to be bowl eligible, and I see some spots where they don't have us in a bowl. All right? They have Carolina in the Military Bowl. But it's amazing. I'm going to tell you a funny story. When Maryland got to the Military Bowl, and they really got it taken to them by Swofford, because that year, with Ralph's last year, they were at 8-4, and they deserved a higher rated bowl. But Swofford, they wanted to save the Military Bowl and, whatever. And I talked to quite a few people, and we said, one day, you never say no to a bowl or poo-paw it, because one day getting to that Military Bowl could look real good. All right? And the time has come.
It's now, baby.
All right. And the fact that it's played in Annapolis, and the fact that Maryland fans will flock there and they don't have to spend $3,000 to get to the game, or who knows what they'd have to spend in New Mexico, is a plus to the game.
Right. If we somehow got sent to El Paso, Texas to play in what was the Brute whatever bowl.
Yeah, nobody. They don't expect people to go. I mean, it's
well, that would be that's really getting screwed out the door by the ACC. Would be having to go there for a bowl. I'd rather go to Annapolis.
Oh, well, it's not even close. I mean, airfare is probably $1,000 alone to New Mexico.
Probably. So at 12:30 today, probably for the last time ever, or at least in our lifetimes, the Terps go to Blacksburg. Look, Duke lost to BC. I'm sorry. Virginia Tech lost to Duke. Virginia Tech lost to BC. It's not impossible. This isn't the juggernaut.
Let me tell you, I will make you one promise. No matter what happens today, we will never go to Blacksburg again. All right, because it's a place they don't like to go. Beamer has been merciless on us. All right, in those games, they beat the heck out of us, and they're not going to go. Story coming up. Don't tell me you're going to predict Maryland winning today, because it would be a great prediction. But I do believe that BC is a very winnable game.
And then NC State has not won a game in the ACC.
I don't like the fact that it's on the road. Just like I don't like the Ravens in Chicago tomorrow, and I don't like the Redskins in Philly tomorrow.
No.
Because the games are on the road. But anyway, here's a news story that kind of turned my stomach a little bit. And I'm going to ask you why. Ben DeLuca was dismissed as the Cornell lacrosse coach. Now, why would I care about that?
Because here's what I've learned in the past year. John Tillman has ties to that job, and they're coming after Tillman.
Well, I don't know that to be the case, and I haven't talked to John.
That's just my guess.
Well, that's a heck of a guess. All right, my gut feeling, and there's a few guys on terrapintimes.com and rivals.com who are kind of like in the know about New York lacrosse. And the first thing they said is beware of Tillman. Now, the only reason why I don't think that could ever happen is Tillman has spent his heart and soul on getting tremendous recruiting classes. He's done it again for 2014. So my own personal take is that John is not going to recruit the kids that he has spent his life trying to get to come to Maryland. And the fact that he loves Maryland's another story. But it just turns my stomach every time I see this, and at the top of the list, it's let's go after Tillman. All right, I don't know. I'm
the
not.
Only defense of that, from why he'd be available, is Maryland doesn't really put the cash behind that lacrosse program at the moment, and they need to step it up, or Under Armour, or somebody needs to step it up and get them really first-class building, first-class practice facility, and maybe even get them a facility so they don't have to play in Bird, where a 12,000-person crowd seems like nothing.
Right. But anyway, John, if you're listening, well, pretend you didn't hear what I said. But I just got a stinking feeling about it, and he'll never say it, and listen. He'll deny it from the get-go, and he won't talk to him. He told me that with Navy, he said, I never told them for 1 second I was interested in going to Navy. You remember that episode after the first year?
Right. Okay. But, well, is it prediction time? You want to go with basketball, soccer? Who do you want to predict?
Well, let's go all three, all right, because we only got a minute, right? Number one, field hockey. They win the 2 games. They go to the Final Four again.
And where's the Final Four?
The Final Four is in Norfolk,
and
Virginia.
I'm sure you'll be down there.
Very, very likely. All right, number 2, soccer. Do they beat Virginia? Yes, they do. See maybe a 2-1 score, a tough game. And then football, it's not going to happen this week. 28-10, I'll see them losing.
I think it's going to be worse.
Well, I hope not. And basketball, Oregon State. Sorry, President. Enjoy yourself at the game. and come back again, but you're not going to go home happy.
And after that game, we have a new feature, which is a Terp Talk post-game show.
Come
video.
Right, video right on terptalk.com and capitalsportsblog.com. Come right to it after the game, and I mean right after the game. It's Bruce Posner signing off, along with Wayne Viner on Viner Consulting Terp Talk. What a great first show, Wayne. Thanks for all your support. Kelly, one of the most trusted names in benefits, now offers payroll. KTBS Payroll provides a payroll solution that utilizes their innovative technology for greater accuracy, administrative efficiency, and compliance with regulatory requirements, such as the new Patient Protection and Affordable Care Acts. KTBS Payroll features management tools, reports, and services that relieve you of the details while giving you better control, ensuring you remain in compliance. Call KTBS today at 888-882-1487 to learn more about their integrated solution for payroll and benefits through KTBS Payroll. Fellowship of Christian Athletes is touching millions of lives, one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been helping coaches and athletes on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels to fulfill their God-given potential. FCA is the largest Christian sports organization in America and focuses on serving local communities by equipping, empowering, and encouraging people to make a difference. To learn more about the FCA in your area, call Mark Stevens at 301-363-8611 or visit their website, metromdfca.org. Are you looking for great seats? You want to see the Terps play Duke or Carolina? Want Oriole Yankee tickets? NASCAR, Van Halen? You name it. GreatSeats.com has them. Nothing beats having great seats, and you can find them by calling 800-853-SEAT or check out Great Seats ticket inventory at www.greatseats.com. Call 800-853-SEAT. Tell them the Terp Talk guy sent you. Nestled near College Park is one of Terp Talk's favorite spots, the Old Line Fine Wine, Spirits, and Bistro. I've had several lunches and dinners at the Old Line Bistro, and the atmosphere is fantastic. And the food is off the charts. What a great spot to go before or after a Terp game. Then there's the greatest selection of fine wines and beers, all at reasonable prices. At 11011 Baltimore Avenue on Route 1, check out the Old Line Bistro and say hello to my friend Larry Pendleton. Call 301-937-6999 for reservations or just stop in. That's the Old Line Bistro, 301-937-6999. Viner Consulting helps you get the most out of your business technology. We develop a technology plan for your business. There is much more than the run-of-the-mill break and fix service you are probably used to getting from your local IT tech. This is a real plan to move you forward, to bring in the latest technology at the best prices, strong support services, and a vision to lay out where you want your company to be down the road. And best of all, the plan is free to your company. Let us come and help you build your future today. Viner Consulting is a proud Microsoft partner, a Lenovo partner, and an HP partner. Conveniently based in Rockville, we service the Baltimore, Washington area. You can reach us at 240-599-0140 or on the web at www.vinerconsulting.com.
Have you been injured in a car accident, by medical error, while on the job, or because of the fault of another? Are your medical payments and paperwork piling up, or are you out of work and losing wages that you can't afford to lose, all because someone else was negligent? If so, get the representation and individual attention you deserve from the law firm of Grant Posner, 443-388-4777, or go to BeMoreLaw.com for your free consultation.
I'm Grant Posner. I began this firm with the belief that all clients should get the individual attention that they deserve. When you call my office, you deserve to speak directly to an attorney. Call today at 443-388-4777 or visit BeMoreLaw.com and schedule your free consultation with an attorney today. Get Get the individual attention and experience you deserve for all of your injury, traffic, or criminal legal needs. And don't forget, for personal injury cases, there are no legal fees or expenses unless we win. Call today, 443-388-4777 or bemorelaw.com.
Attention business owners. Circumstances force the best of businesses to ask callers to wait. KO Productions on-hold messages turn those wasted seconds into customer awareness, service, consideration, and your own profitability. Our on-hold messages are the most direct, economical, and personal links you can have with current and future customers. We'll generate more business for you on the spot, on the phone, on the double. Get complete details at koponhold.com, koponhold.com, or call Freddie from Boca at 800-229-9969, 800-229-9969.
The opinions expressed in the preceding paid program do not necessarily represent those of WJFK, CBS Radio, its employees, or sponsors.